Okay, well, we're going to be showing you how to install Ubuntu 32-bit with Virtualbox. I've been playing around with it with a Windows 8 install, and this is mostly from scratch. So you would go in and create your new virtual machine with the little wizard here. You can put in a name, like Ubuntu, select the Linux OS, and there's Ubuntu, and you could even install a 64-bit version if you chose to. Select your memory and create a hard disk. So we've done all that and configured it to pick up the under storage here. You can select which ISO you want to load by using the set up a virtual CDD/DVD drive, and I've forced it to not remove the CD or DVD if it's ejected in the OS. So that's where we're at, and that ISO would be the one you download from Ubuntu, and it includes all of the same, essentially a boot ISO that you would have, or if you wrote to a DVD, you could install it on your computer. So here's the installer. One thing that's kind of nice is since it's booting off your hard drive, this installation typically goes pretty fast. The Windows 8 install took less than 30 minutes. So here's Tri Ubuntu or Install Ubuntu. We're going to choose Install Ubuntu. All that stuff. We'll choose the download updates. And let's install third-party software. The primary reason I'm doing this install is to be able to build a Android OS to install it later. So we'll do this. There's our device. Oops, let's go back here. Let's just have it erase the hard drive. Yep, there's the only hard drive it can see, my Virtualbox hard drive. So we'll see how long this takes. It's a pretty small hard drive I've done this on. It's going to create all the file systems. Let me select my city. Just choose Chicago. Keyboard layout. And since it's a virtual machine, I won't be using it very much. I'm just not going to create a real secure password. If you're planning on using this for more than just building an OS, you may want to create a slightly more secure password. So we'll just wait for this install to complete. It shouldn't take very long. One thing to note, I created a 21 gig drive for this install, but you could go as little as 8 gig. I just wanted to leave some extra space. Also with VirtualBox, you can choose to have it dynamically create your file system. If you're going to do that, I didn't, because I don't want to use up more hard drive space than I planned, and have it collide with other things. And with the prices of large hard drives today, it's probably a good idea manage your hard drive space effectively, at least until the prices come back down. So looks like we're almost done. A Linux install usually doesn't take very long. I will note that my machine is a 6 processor AMD machine. So if we go here, while we're waiting for the install, you can see 6 CPUs. I have 8 gigs of RAM. I could move up to 16 gigs because it's relatively inexpensive right now. And if we go to look at what processors are being used, you can see Virtualbox is consuming the most, and the screen capture software for this. So it's retrieving all the updates. The nice thing about having so many processors is running these virtual machines is very efficient in terms of processor usage. It'll utilize your processors that you aren't using for your Windows, and it doesn't really interfere with your existing Windows usage. Like everything in the background here is extremely fast, and almost as if I wasn't doing this install. The only issue I've seen is if you're trying to read or write from the same hard drive. If there's a lot of disk I/O stuff happening in the VirtualBox, it can affect your performance there. You can mitigate this by having a separate drive for your virtual machines and only using them for running your virtual machines on, or anything to do with that. And that would alleviate any issues that you'd see with disk I/O. So we're finishing up the downloading here. You can see downloading language packs, which seems to take quite a while. Still only language packs. Not exactly sure what languages they expect me to use, but normal selling points of a OS. I'm actually very impressed with how smoothly VirtualBox runs and how easy it has been to use. My previous attempts at virtual machines were using VMware, which subsequently screwed up all my network connections and took a lot of work to clean up. Eventually, because of various reasons, I just reinstalled Windows after I'd fixed the network connections, but it was kind of a pain. So I've been avoiding VMware for desktop use, but VirtualBox seems like a even better solution with its integrated 3D hardware acceleration, 2D hardware acceleration, and everything. Also note that I am using Hypercam for this capture. Hypercam 2, which is a freely available capture software. It works amazingly well. I'm doing on-the-fly encoding, and I haven't seen any stuttering in the audio or video, and which is much better than previous capture agents I've used. So it does a pretty amazing job, dealing with all this at fairly low CPU usage, around 7%, which is maybe like 30% of one CPU on my machine. So we're downloading a few more packages here. Oh, and I'm also encoding this to Xvid. I'm not too particular about the codec, but the Xvid stuff seems to work pretty smoothly with Hypercam. I would typically use like a Microsoft Windows codec, but Hypercam didn't seem to support a relatively new MPEG-4 ones. Okay, so we're done. Now we have to restart the virtual machine. Here it goes. Oh, it looks like it wants me to remove the boot disk here. So we can power this one off. Alright, and we're back. So I guess that's our install. You know, all the new Ubuntu stuff, kind of looking like a Mac OS thing, and we're done. So hopefully, this will help you in your quest to install a virtual machine. And good luck. My next video will be looking at a Android build, and then maybe an Android install on a virtual machine.